everybody, it's Cheri here at Tier 1 Interventions Podcast. I'm here today with Jonily Zupancic, and we are in class today with a live group of ladies and gentlemen who are learning about the Mastery Math method. So I'm going to let Jonily talk, and if there's any intervention that I want to add to the puzzle, we will do. But for now, I'm signing it all over to Jonily, and let us learn a little bit about mathematics, girl.
Y'all, this is Jay-Z. I'm Jonily Zupancic. I'm your math specialist, your main mathineer. If you are listening to this podcast or you're watching this podcast on YouTube, I want to give a disclaimer and a warning. This is level 2. You're listening in on a level 2 version of Mastery Math Method. Mastery Math Method is strengthening our Tier 1 core general classroom. We cannot have in our schools effective interventions and effective Tier 2 and Tier 3 without the strongest core. So if you're listening to this, that's the mindset that I want you to have. You should be listening to this if you are a general classroom teacher, a special ed teacher, a parent, a school board member, a superintendent, a curriculum director, a principal. Every stakeholder should be involved in the qualities of a strong Tier 1 general classroom environment and the experiences that students are going to have. But again, the disclaimer is this is up-leveled. Natalie, I'm going to use your word. I love it. I think it was up-level. This is definitely the up-level version of the mathematics. So to get the lower level versions, you'll listen to some other podcasts. But don't not listen to this because you don't understand it. Please share the movement and subscribe on YouTube, Tier 1 Interventions Podcast. Tell your friends, neighbors, relatives, enemies. We don't care who it is. And subscribe. So behind me, you're going to see the result of many other groups that I am leading this year. So I'm leading a masterclass group, a mastermind group.
But put your information in the comments. We will get back to you.
You know what, Cheri? I always forget about this. You are so good. I love you so much. And I'm going to reiterate that. If you're listening on a podcast or you're watching the podcast on YouTube, I've already said and subscribe. We have to ask ourselves, did any of it change the behavior? Did any of it change the behavior? And if the answer is no, then we have to do something that's going to change the behavior. So don't just get online and throw out your complaints about the school system. Okay? Nobody wants to hear that. Let's have good, positive energy and real conversations about strategies and techniques that can actually make a difference and make changes. I'm leading a Saturday math group. There's lots of different types of groups that I'm leading this year. And this was one of the main content pieces that I started this school year off with. And it is the CES, the CES. C is for building a culture. C is for culture. Building and launching a culture, a flavor, a tone, a brand in your classroom. So I'm going to talk a lot about the feel of the classroom in Mastery Math Method. E for the CES, E is essential. If everything is important, nothing is important. So I'm going to be focusing on essentials. There are certain things in math that are absolutely essential that leverage everything else. We were talking before we actually started the podcast recording, and there was a question that said, do we have to start with addition or subtraction, or can we start with division? So someone here said, I just listened to your Division is Counting podcast. I want to do that with my littles. I want to do that with my kids that are really far behind in mathematics. I want to do that with my strugglers. Like, I loved the Division is Counting podcast, but do I need the addition, subtraction, and multiplication one first? The ultimate answer is no. Division is more essential than addition, subtraction, and multiplication. Division exposures and division experiences are more essential. So if I'm going to teach operation, I'm going to choose to teach division more than anything else. Then I'm going to use division as the vehicle to teach addition, subtraction, and multiplication. If you haven't listened to the episode with Division is Counting, go back and take a look at that. There are actually 2 of them now.
Hey, everybody. It's Cheri again. If you're loving these strategies and you want to join our Mastery Math Method Masterclass, we hold this hour-long event once a month, and we'd love to have you join. What we talk about there is how to improve your math skills in 10 days. Can you imagine 10 days? Whether you're a math teacher or an occupational therapist, you can see exactly how to shift teaching so that every student, no matter their starting point, can master core math concepts and reserve your seat today. And go over to disabilitylabs.com/calendar to check out the next event.
There's level 1 division is counting and level 2 division is counting. Then, as we are exposing kids to division and we're teaching addition, subtraction, and multiplication through it, we have now shortened the time for mastery. You see, a lot of things that I hear in schools and with teachers is we don't have time, we need more time. We do not need more time. As a matter of fact, I'm going to cut your time in a third. I'm only going to give you a third of your time. And I'm going to tell you with the Mastery Math Method strategies, you can do all of this and more in a third of the current time you have with students by focusing on essentials and the right essentials. You can't pick the essentials. We are going to pick the essentials for you because for the last 26 years, I have studied what the high leverage concepts of mathematics are. Think about toddlers for a moment, because I want to give a concrete example here. Think about toddlers for a moment. What are toddlers good at? I should say this. What do toddlers know a lot about? They're not good at this because a lot of them don't like doing this, but what do they know a lot about? Sharing equally. 3-year-olds are very aware if they don't have the same exact amount as somebody else. That is division. We're losing a great opportunity by wasting our time on addition, subtraction, and multiplication. Think about the other thing that toddlers know a lot about: asking questions. My friends, when kids get to 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, secondary, we have untaught them to ask great questions. We have schooled it out of them. We have unlearned them. This is what school is doing. This is what traditional school is doing to our kids. So essentials is what you're going to hear in the Mastery Math Method. And that is what's going to allow us to teach more math in less time. It's going to allow kids to achieve more mathematics in less time, even our most struggling population. CES, the S is seasons. Now, how do we get it all in? The number one factor in student memory and retention of content is interactions over time. Interactions over time. How do we get it all in? How do we get more interactions over time? It's by teaching math in seasons. In the school year, there are 5 seasons. The first season, as we're recording this, is right now because it's August. As you're hearing this, it could be any season. But the first season is right now, and I call the first season first 15 days. In the first 15 days, I expose my students to all of the math in my entire curriculum. Not for their mastery. They're not going to master it all. But they are exposed to my entire curriculum in the first 15 days. And then in season 2 is really like October to December. I expose them to the whole curriculum again at an up level. And then season 3 is January. We call January Math in a Month. It's a replication of the first 15 days in season 1. And we expose all of our content, mainly our essentials, the whole month of January. So technically, my goal is to expose students to everything and have the majority of them master my entire year content by the end of January. That's what happens with the Mastery Math Method. The Mastery Math Method is the comprehensive course that is going to make all of what I've just said happen. Remember, you're listening to level 2. So I'm going to way up level the mathematics, and then keep in mind, if you teach littles, you're not going to replicate the teaching of the mathematics that I'm going to share with you today. But I need you all to, here.
Thanks for tuning in to Level 2 Mastery Math Method series. If this feels heavy, don't worry. Next episode, we lighten the load by diving into one of our favorite hands-on activities, the locker problem. You'll see how one deceptively simple problem unlocks deep learning for students at every level. Until then, remember, every student deserves the chance to see themselves as a mathematician. And as Cheri and Jonily say, go be awesome, go be brilliant, for you were put here for such a time as this.